Hello DIY fish keepers, this is Brian. This is my project on the CO2 injector. I am going to be making two of them. One for my wife's 20-gallon guppy tank, which I've planted grass in, and then one for my 36-gallon, which has an assorted mixture of plants. I'm not entirely sure of their names, but I'm going to start with my wife's. I went and found this bottle, 6-pack of waters. Joey had showed how he had used a piece of wood to hold these together. These are nice because they have their own plastic holder holding them together. So I'm going to leave the holder intact and use it to basically hold the bottles together instead of the piece of wood. So I'm going to cut this in half and leave 3 bottles connected, drain the bottles and drill the caps, and I will be back after that. Okay, I've got the bottles emptied. These are the bottles. They've got the strap that's holding them together, so I don't need to make that wood block like Joey did, which was really nice. And this is a nice convenient strap also, so it'll hold the bottles together from coming apart. I've drilled the caps, one hole, and then 3 holes like Joey did in his video. I've pre-cut the lines to go from the first and second bottle into the third bottle. Your dimensions can be different. I cut these 10 inches in length, so that when it goes in, it should work just fine. The holes that I drilled in the caps for the tubing were 3/16 inch hole. It doesn't pinch the tubing in any way. It's your standard aquaculture airline tubing. Now the diffuser that Joey showed in his video, the little bottle, cutting the bottom off and putting a foam pad in, I'm going to do mine a little differently to try to have it not shown in the tank. I have a decoration in the tank that I can fit the bottle into. I've cut the threaded portion of the bottle off to leave that open. I'm going to cut a hole in the bottom of this bottle, and then I'm going to drill a whole bunch of tiny holes, 1/16 inch holes through the top, or through this side, on the opposite end that I cut open. And then this is the decoration that I'm going to use inside the guppy tank. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bottle and put it inside the decoration, and to sort of hide it from view. It will fit in there. Once I cut the bottom open, it'll fit flush, and it won't wobble. But it'll be hidden inside the tank, or inside the castle in the tank. And I do have a piece of foam that I'm going to roll up and put inside the bottle to help diffuse the CO2. So this is where I'm at on this so far. But like I said, a little bit different on the diffuser bottle. Like I said, I'll cut the bottom open to put the foam pad in and drill a hole in the side for the tubing to go into, and then we'll go from there. But I'm going to go ahead and cut the bottle and drill it, and I'll come back and show you the assembly of everything, including the putting the ingredients in the bottle to get everything ready. Alright, I haven't quite cut it yet, but I wanted to come back and show you something real quick. I've got the bottle in, and unfortunately it's hard to see, but it sticks out from the bottom just a little bit, you know. So what I did is I took a piece of cardboard, any cardboard as long as you can lay it flat, on the edges of the decoration, and I used a Sharpie and traced along the cardboard so that I can get at least the dimensions of the opening that I'm going to have to cut. Here. So I went across both sides and on this, and that way I can mark where I have to cut, and that will actually flatten out the bottle so that it won't cause the decoration to do a weeble wobble in the tank, and it won't interfere with the anything else. So when I return, I should be to the point where I've already cut the bottom. I'm going to, here's another bottle that's just like this one. I'm going to drill 1/16 inch holes all through the top on the opposite side of the opening on the bottom, so that way the CO2 can diffuse out of the bottle through the sponge, and we'll see how it works from there. I will be back after I've cut it, and we'll try to start with the assembly. Okay, I'm back again. I've got, I think I've got everything prepared and set up. I've got the 3 water bottles, each filled with 1 cup of water, 2 of which we will be adding the mixture to of sugar and yeast. I've gone ahead and set up the drip bottle, 2 lines going in, and then 1 line that's going to leave out to the tank with its one-way valve, of course pointing towards the tank, or towards the diffuser. The diffuser itself, I've got 13 rows of holes, 13 by 3 for a total of 39 holes. I've cut out the bottom so that it'll fit flush in the tank, put a sponge in it, put the CO2 line going into the sponge area, and also left the end open. Figured it wouldn't hurt because most of the air is going to be up top where the holes are at, the CO2. So now that won't get put together until we're ready to put it in the tank. Now, as far as the yeast, I'm probably going to do it overkill. I have Fleshman's, this is bread machine yeast, and I know in Joey's video it says 1/8 of a teaspoon for every 10 gallons. So we have a 20-gallon tank that I'm working on, so I'm going to do 1/8 of a teaspoon of Fleshman's in 1 bottle, and I have also Red Star Quick Rise yeast. It's an instant dry yeast that I'm going to be mixing also with this. So each bottle will have a sort of half and half mixture. So I'm going to try to see how that works. But we shall see how this goes. So, as I stated, I have the sugar prepared. I've seen several videos that have stated to add baking soda, and from what I've read, it's used to lower the pH level in the tanks, because I've also read that doing this will raise your pH levels, so we don't want that. But I'm adding 1 cup of sugar to 1 cup of water in each bottle. Then I will get the yeast mixture ready. It says to use 104 degree temperature water. I don't have a thermometer to check that. So what I will be doing is just going for hot tap water, and to let that, I guess, be the hot water. I'm not going to go super hot that I can't touch it, but I'm going to go hot enough that it's slightly uncomfortable. But as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm adding the sugar. Now this may look a little different because it's not all white. I've mixed a half and half mixture of white processed sugar with this been bleached and everything, so that it looks pretty for us. But I've mixed that with a brown, it looks brown, but it is not brown sugar. It is actually a raw sugar. So each bottle has, as I stated, a mixture of white and raw sugar. So I'm going to mix these up, just see, so we don't have any troubles with leaking. I don't need to be spraying water all over my kitchen table here. I'm going to put a small tube over the connectors, and this will keep them from spraying all over the place. And the output line, I'll just pinch it while I'm holding the bottles. So the sugar mixture, like I said, I'm going to shake it, mix it, dissolve the sugar, so that way it's ready for the yeast. But so this is pretty much what you do. The lines that I've gotten set up for the bottles are these lines here. Goes through the lids. I will screw them on and connect them to the connector here on the top of the third bottle. And then the third bottle has its outlet, which I have to get the the water out of here. I pinched it, but it still got water in there. Okay, so like I said, the next step I've got to do is prepare the yeast and then put it in the 2 bottles here, and that will start the process of yeast creating CO2. Now, this piece, as I stated before, let's go ahead and set this down and out of the way for a second. The diffuser that Joey has, a modification from his design, so that I can hide it into the tank's area. Again, castle for the fish to swim around, and the diffuser will fit inside. I get some. Sorry about that. Some sand stuck inside. I have a sand substrate in my tank, but this the diffuser is going to fit into the decoration. Of course, it's going to block the fish from, unfortunately, going through the cave sort of area, but it's because I cut it flat. It's nice, and it will sit in the tank like so. Airline coming out of the back and going to our CO2 injector. So this is the diffuser all set up and ready to go. I can actually go ahead and set this in the tank and get it ready, so that all I have to do is connect it to the diffuser, and then we'll be rocking with CO2 for the plants. So I'm gonna go for now. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go and set up the yeast mixture and get it ready, and then I will come back, add it to the bottles, and then finish connecting the bottles up properly, and hopefully be able to show you some air bubbles coming in the bubble indicator bottle. And then I will also continue this with the second design, which is for my 36 gallon. It's going to be a little bit different. So I guess I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. I've got the diffuser in the tank at the moment, ready to be plugged into the CO2 injector. I've got hot water here. It's hot from the tap. I can put my finger in it, hold it, and not sit there and jump for joy. So it's over warm, but not too hot. So and as far as how much I'm going to use, I wasn't sure what to do in regards to putting the yeast in the bottle because the water's not hot or not warm. So I'm just going to put it in here and add the warm water, and we'll see what happens. So as I said before, I'm going to mix the 2 yeasts, regular bread machine yeast, and then the quick rise Red Star yeast. I figure 1/8 teaspoon of each for each bottle should work alright. and at least a good start. So there's 1/8 of a teaspoon of the red star in that one, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of the red star in this one. So one for each bottle. And get this out of the way. So yeah, I took all the red star out of the packages and put it in a dish so it'd be easier to deal with, since the Fleshman's bread machine yeast came in a jar. I figured I'd deal with it that way. So we're going to go with 1/8 of a teaspoon from the Fleshman's here, and 1/8 of a teaspoon for this. Stuff's really attractive to you. It's sort of like got a static charge on it. So there we have it, the yeast for both. So now I'm going to add the warm water. Let's close up this jar. Alright, so I've already pre-measured. I've marked little dots. I'm not using an exact measurement. Joey said 1/8 of a teaspoon of hot water to 1/8 of a teaspoon of yeast. But I'm going to go a little bit more than that and see how that works. Yeah. So there's that one. I gotta stir it. I'll get the water in both, that way I can stir both. Alright, here's the warm water in this one. There. So there we go. So now that we've done that, we'll go ahead and this is already foaming on this one a little bit, so we'll give it a quick stir. Try to get it all mixed together in the warm water to, I guess, activate it. I've never dealt with yeast, so got bubbles forming already here. Same with this one a little bit. So stir it, make sure we get them all. There. Alright, so close enough. Leave it sit for just a little bit. And I'm already getting, looks like bubbles on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and preload the syringe. Not syringe, it's more for used for washing out your gums when you have a tooth pulled, is where I got this syringe from. So I've got that, and we've got the funnel. So we got the sugar water mixture all set. And the funnel. Giving this a good watch. And yeah, it seems to be doing something. I've got bubbles developing slowly. Slowly on the top of the yeast I've got bubbles developing. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and call this done. So, let's go ahead and pour this in the first bottle. Make sure we get all of it. I don't want to shortchange the yeast in any way. There we go. That's the first bottle. So, recharge the syringe. Alright, it's ready to go. And I'm going to pour this in the second one. Alright. Both containers are empty. And it looks like all the yeast is out of the funnel. A little bit. There we go. So that's good. So, as I said before, I had pre-prepared the lids with their tube. So, take this off. I put on here to. Alright, so one tube on one side. And what I did is I actually put a tube going down with a coupler to this lid and on both those tubes, so that if for some reason I needed to replace the bottle for some ungodly reason, all I had to do was to take off the coupler and then I could replace it. I'm twisting the tubes around each other. You don't have to. It's just something I like to do, help keep things neat sometimes. But there we are. So, give us a little bit of a shake. Trying to keep it so it doesn't come up to the bottle tops. There we go. Good shake. Alright. So now, try to get a closer look. It's too close. Sorry. There we go. So we have this bottle that has 1 cup of water, 1 cup of sugar mix with baking soda, and now yeast. I mixed the yeast, quick acting and a regular yeast together. Hopefully we get a nice CO2 mix going. I did the same with the second bottle. Fed them both into this bottle, basically as a bubble counter, and then we have the outline that goes to the diffuser. So I will go ahead and what I'm doing is I'm going to put this behind the fish tank. it won't be seen. The diffuser's not seen. When it does start acting or reacting like it's supposed to, then we might see bubbles coming out of the castle. If we do, then that would be great. If we don't, then that's quite alright. It's our first attempt. So here we go. What am I trying to do here? Oh, that's right. I'm just sort of braiding the lines here to make it look a little bit neater, somewhat, I guess. So, I guess I will be back, and we'll start the next project for the 36 gallon. Hi again. Okay, so we're back. I've got everything pretty much set up for the second CO2 do-it-yourself project. This is going to be for my 36 gallon tank, going off of Joey's recipe. 1 cup of water, 1 cup of sugar per 10 gallons. I went ahead and went with 4 cups of water, rounding up, and 4 cups of sugar. Again, I'm using a mixture of white sugar and brown sugar. It's not brown sugar, but it's raw sugar. And because it's going to be sitting under the stand, I don't really have a nice setup for it. I'll show you how I'm going to hold everything together. I think you'll find it very interesting, and probably kind of cute. I don't know. But so I've already got my 4 cups of water in here, and just to make sure, because I'm old and my mind is feeble sometimes, I'll go ahead and make sure that I've got the required 4 cups. So here's the first 2 cups of water. Here's the second 2 cups of water, for a total of 4 cups in the reaction chamber, I guess you can call it. Alright, so we have our 4 cups, our funnel, and then feed in our sugar mixture, hopefully without dumping it all over. Okay, I was afraid of this. Well, looks like we got a bit of a issue here. Didn't do this before. I guess I went too fast or something. Well, let me load this up and I'll be right back. So, okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. We had a small issue with dampness. Sorry. So, and please excuse my dog in the background. He seems to think he needs to bark at whatever is talking. So, again, I apologize for that. So, I've added the sugar mixture to our container. I'm now going to give it a good shake and mix it up. Get it ready for the yeast. Alright. So we have our sugar base here, sugar water base for the yeast. I've got some warm water, again, like I said before in the video, it's just off the tap. I didn't let it run for a long time to get it super hot, but I did wait till it was warm. Warmer than warm, but not hot. Now, as far as my yeast mixture, again, I am mixing two different yeasts. The Fleshman's bread machine yeast. So now with 1/8 of a teaspoon, according to Joey's recipe, times 4, that works out to a half teaspoon. So I'm just going to do a half teaspoon of each. A half teaspoon of the Fleshman's and a half teaspoon of the Red Star. I think something's going on because I think the bottles for the 20-gallon are building up pressure because something just went pop. And I'm hoping it's the bottles and nothing else. So back to what we were doing. Sorry. Alright, so we've got the yeast. Now I'm just going to add a fair amount of warm water. I'm not going to try and measure this. But, there we go. Now I will mix this. Alright, now let's close everything up so that we don't lose any yeast or get them wet in any way. I've got a lot of water and other things going on around here. So alright, so back to here. We're going to give it a good stir. This one's pretty thick. There we go. Yeah, this one's pretty thick. I might want to alright. Let's get some more water so we can rinse things off as we add it. There we go. Because it's not it got a lot thicker than the last batch. That was only a quarter teaspoon. Alright. if it can be seen on the camera, but this wonderful tray that I'm working on was actually from McDonald's. We had a birthday party there, and they were gracious enough to just tell us, hey, go ahead and take it. We had the birthday cake on it and everything. It makes a wonderful, wonderful work area. Alright, so let this sit for a few minutes and let it foam up. And then once it's foamed up, then we can pour it in. So while we're waiting for that to happen, let me show you how I am going to be keeping these things together. Because I don't have a nice board cut out. This is a rather large circle, so I don't think that would work too well. So what I did is I had a pair of ACU pants that I had turned into a pair of shorts, and so I had figured, well, I still have the lower half of the legs, so I tied the bottom like so to keep everything inside, and I weaved through the guts from a parachute cord, just one of them. And one thing nice is these have this little lower pocket, and you'll see what I'm going to use that for here in a second. So I just slide this here into the pants, and one thing that's nice is this bottle has a recessed area in the center on the bottom, so that little tied up area in the pants is not going to be a problem. Now, turn this so you can see it. One thing I thought was really nice is this pocket holds the bubbler bottle just fine. And it has a Velcro cover. If I wanted to, I could probably cut a small hole and feed the lines through and pull the Velcro cover over to close it, but this will work fine. So, like I said, I weaved the guts, or one string from the guts of a parachute cord, or 550 cord as some people call it, through the pants. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically, it's like a drawstring, and draw this closed as best I can. So I'll draw it closed, and then come up here and basically I'll tie it off. Nice little bow. Fingers aren't working today. There we go. Yeah, it's not super tight, but you know what? It'll hold everything together. So I just leave it like that. Tuck the strings down in so that they're out of the way. There, and then over here. And like I said, it's different. It's not black tape. It's not packing tape. It's not a board, but it works. All right. We got some foaming going on here, so let's go ahead and pour the yeast in, seal up the bottle, and then we'll get on with our project here. So, a little bit more warm water to wash out the yeast. Don't want to waste any. Get as much as possible. So, there. Alright, so yeast has been added. Alright, here's our lid. So we'll put our lid on, cinch it down tight, and attach it to our coupler on the drip bottle. There. Give it a little bit of a swirl. Mix everything up good. Alright, so this is the CO2 do-it-yourself that I did for my 36 gallon. It'll sit underneath the tank. I have a line, I'll have a line running up from the one-way check valve up to the tank, and I'm going to try, I've seen some people using stones. I have a bubbler stone. I'm going to try for a while and see if that works, see if I get bubbles out of it. I'm going to place it close to the plants. If not, then I can always, go back and set up a diffuser, so that's not a problem. But I'm going to try this first and see what happens. A couple days won't hurt, so we'll see. So this is my do-it-yourself CO2 injector project for my 20-gallon high and my 36-gallon bow front. I hope you enjoyed it, and hope to hear plenty of comments, good or bad. Thank you.